Okay, we're here for a Teen Mom review. We are going to be reviewing episodes 5 and 6 today. I'm gonna try to make this video not too long, but I mean, it's gonna probably be the longest video because it's 2 episodes. You know how I do. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're not new, you know what it is. Like this video if you like it, subscribe if you want to. Let's get into each girl and what happened these last 2 episodes. And I promise, listen, I'm sorry I've been late. Go watch the previous review if you haven't, because I finally posted a review to that. I explained why I was gone. I'm back. I promise I'll be back regularly each week. I was behind for a reason. I'm here. I will be back to review the newest episode that just aired, probably either Thursday or Friday, so fuck with me. So we leave off with Kaya and Tiaza pretty much hashing things out. Kaya kindly realizes that she was probably overreacting. She didn't say that necessarily, but I think she gets the point. And Tiaza's birthday is coming up, and Kaya decides to throw her a party, and her mom, you know, pretty much helped put it together. Well, I don't really know if the mom did, but I know that obviously Kaya did. And I guess she had a great party and everything worked out. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say this, disclaimer. I don't know what happened, but 20 minutes into watching the episode 5, my recording cut out. I don't fucking know why, but it didn't record like literally 30 minutes of the show. So I only caught the first 20 minutes of episode 5, and then I caught like the last 5 minutes of episode 5. So literally only caught like 25 minutes of the episode. So I didn't even get to see any of Kayla's part in the episode. And I only got to see small parts of like Brianna's and Rachel's. So I didn't get to see all of anything for episode 5. However, I kind of got a recap and kind of understood. So pretty much I didn't get to see the party, but she said she had the party. She was talking to her friend, Tiaza was, and she said the party was amazing. She had a good time. And pretty much like, they were talking about her relationship and how things were going between, you know, her and Kaya. And then in the confessional, she says that she's really grateful and thankful, honestly, to have Kaya and her mother in her life, because she honestly doesn't know where she would be if they weren't there. And that's a sweet thing to say, and it's also at the same time sad to say. She's only, I'm gonna assume, 18 years old. So it's like the fact that she sadly kind of has to rely on her girlfriend and in the moment ex-girlfriend and her mother to like function and be okay is not really okay, because it's like she should have blood family, especially like her parents, especially if they're still alive and able to take care of her, that should be looking out for her and being there for her so that she doesn't have to rely on anyone else other than herself. But if she can't rely on herself, she at least should have them if they're still alive and able. And it's sad that they are alive and able and they're not. It's sad that it was her birthday and she said they didn't do anything for her. And I do get that when you are, you know, because usually once you hit like 15, 16, most parents don't care to go all out for the kids anymore. There are some parents who are involved with their kids' like lives and plan to be regardless of what age they are, and I plan to be one of those parents. I'm just saying it's sad. But I'm glad that Kaya is there for her. But it's just unfortunate that she has to like rely on her ex just to be sane. So now we're pretty much at like the end of episode 6 when it comes to Kaya, and they decide, I forgot who specifically decided, but the mom was down for it, to invite, I don't know the woman's name, so I'm just going ahead and say Kaya's baby daddy's mama. They decided to invite her to Thanksgiving dinner. I didn't think it was a good idea. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I feel like Thanksgiving dinner is too personal. I feel like when it comes to like holidays, only certain people should be invited to your house. I knew this wasn't gonna be a good idea, especially with their history. I knew this wasn't gonna be a good idea, but they tried it out and it didn't work. And I'm not surprised, because like I said last week, don't believe me, just watch. And we did. We watched as the woman, I don't know her name, pretty much argued with this young woman, her son's baby mama, Kaya, on the phone, because I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you why they got in an argument. Oh, because she was annoyed with the fact that Kaya's mom has an issue with her. And she was thrown off by that because she thought they were cool. So she was like, I didn't even know we had an issue. I didn't think we had an issue. So what's the problem? And I guess that upset her. But it's like, and then Kaya was trying to explain to her, but that's why I'm trying to get y'all to talk, because I want y'all to resolve whatever issue there is. And then she got the baby's name wrong. It's not funny. That's crazy. And then they started kind of arguing a little bit, and Kaya was pissed. And then the mom was trying to get her to hang up the phone, and she eventually did, and then it was a wrap. It still went to a place that didn't have to, because one, why you get the baby's name wrong? Two, what do you mean that you don't care to fix it, or whatever the fuck word she used? Like, what do you mean you don't care to build it? Like, that's your grandson, and you keep hollering and hooping about how much you want to have a relationship. And that's what I'm saying. Talk to people. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it don't matter if it's your mama, your daddy. It don't matter. Sometimes people, regardless of who they are to you, who they are to your kid, who they are to your mama, who they are to your baby daddy, who they are to your husband, who they are to your daughter, whoever these peoples are, if they are toxic, sometimes you dead ass need to cut it. A tiger does not change its stripes. And unless you literally go and get help and physically and mentally and emotionally make the changes in your life daily to be a better person, them toxic ways is always gonna pop up whenever you can't handle shit and shit gets awry. And that's exactly what happened. And I knew this would happen. I'm not surprised. I'm glad it happened before dinner. Honestly, I kind of want to go back to knowing what's going on with Brianna's baby daddy. I guess there's really nothing there. He's just not there, and that's what it is. But damn, like, and that's just so ghetto, because it's just like, boy, how you gonna? And then the crazy part is he went out his way to reach out to her. Like, she thought, girl, this is getting ghettoer. Every time I watch this shit, it gets ghettoer and ghettoer and ghettoer. She had thought that someone else was her baby daddy, a whole nother dude. She wasn't even worried about you, wasn't even thinking about you. You had decided to hit her up and say, you know what? I think I might be the father. In the process of saying that, you already had a whole, I want to say, girlfriend and another child with your current girlfriend. So it's like, you didn't even have, like, if you just wanted to be a shitty ass, no good ass, I don't give a fuck about my kid ass father, then you could have been doing that, just thinking that in your head and letting it go. But I guess you selfishly said, you know what? For my own narcissistic, selfish reasons. That was a tongue twister. I want to find out if this child, who I didn't see was born, haven't been in their life the past year, the mother didn't even know I was the father, or didn't even think I was the father, and I have a whole new family with my girlfriend. But because I feel like I want to know, which he has the right to know, however, in my head and in my heart, I feel like he already knew he wasn't going to really be in his son's life. So it was like, if you already knew that, which I feel he did, you can say maybe he didn't know, but it's like, you do know, because it's like, at the end of the day, you are the person you're gonna be. Like, you don't just wake up one day and be like, I'm gonna be a shitty person. Like, that shit happens over time. And it's like, if you, especially if you already have a child, he probably ain't even a good father to that child. He's probably physically there because he's still with and fucking on the mother. But once they break up, it'll probably be done too. So I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't a good father to his child that he's with. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're not together now, or if in the future they break up and he moves on and starts a new family and then leaves. I mean, a lot of men do that, you know, and it's sad. And especially in today's times, it's like marriage and family is obsolete. Let's not even get started with that. And I just still, to this day, I don't care what you do to me. I just can't believe how a parent can just like up and not give a fuck. And just be like, I don't care, I'm just gonna leave my kid and not give a fuck. And I understand there's some circumstances that prevent parents, you know, from raising their kid, like, you know, and that's why they do adoption. So I understand that, but I'm talking about those who are able, willing, they just don't give a fuck. Like, and I just realized, like, especially with seeing Brianna and her mom bicker so much, especially over annoying things, Brayson really needs a male figure in his life. Like, it's just too much estrus. He needs someone in that house, or even just in his life, that he can relate to, that is at least the same gender as him. But I hope Brianna can do that for him over time. It is what it is. I know she can't control that 100%, but hopefully over time she can. Not necessarily romantically, that's not what I mean. I mean even just as like he can go to the big brother, little brother, or whatever the hell that shit's called, program. She can put him in sports. She can put him in things where he can have access to other men or other boys, or other, like, you know, guys he can look up to or even relate to his age or older than him that can mentor him and whatever. So hopefully that can work. So pretty much with Brianna, still kind of arguing with her mom, but they have kind of found a way to like get along better so that they can live and coexist. I do feel like sometimes Brianna makes it seem like her mom is more of a bitch than she actually is. However, what it comes off like from what Brianna says and how like her sister like agrees with her so openly is that the mom is kind of like probably passive aggressive, and it shows and comes off more obviously behind the scenes because, you know, that she's gonna show her real self there, especially when she's mad. And also like when people are passive aggressive and they do it constantly and they also throw sarcasm in that shit's irritating and annoying as fuck. And I can see how in some regard that can be frustrating. So on camera it comes like Brianna's really the bitch, I'm not gonna lie. But I see where she's coming from what she does say for the most part. And I do feel like the mom also has a right to feel how she feels too, because like I said, Brianna does come off on camera like a bitch, but the mom probably is one off the camera. Girl, I love how Rachel can just get ghettoer and ghettoer. And I'm not even gonna say I love it, because I don't. But at the same time, because it ain't me, it's funny to watch. Okay, so there's a lot to talk about with Rachel. First off, let's start off with the birth control thing. Honestly, y'all probably not gonna agree with me, and that is fine. But I agree with Rachel. I don't believe in birth control myself. Now, we don't know specifically what she ended up doing, and we don't need to. That's her personal business. But I personally don't agree with birth control. I feel like, first of all, the history of birth control, look it up, is very dark. No thank you. Second of all, I've personally done it and I didn't like the effects it gave, so no thank you. So I personally feel like birth control is not really healthy for women. And I honestly think it's also unfair and very fucked up and unfortunate that only women are forced and pried and probed into taking birth control and being sexually responsible for their bodies and preventing pregnancy, and men literally, and I mean literally, can create up to motherfucking 1,000 babies in one day. And you think I'm tripping? Let one man, if all day for 24 hours, okay, impossible, you're not gonna literally come in a cup for 24 hours. Okay, let him come 24 times every hour, right? Or one time every hour, so 24 times. Take those cups and literally get a little squeezy thing and insert them in different women. A man can have multiple babies within one day if he wanted to. Literally, if you had a man do that every day for a year, he would have thousands, probably hundreds of thousands, no cap, of women pregnant and babies. No cap. No cap. A woman can literally only have one baby a year. Literally. So it's crazy. And I understand, because and that's the crazy part, because men can have so many kids because like there's so many sperm cells and sperm that it's hard to control. I get it. But like, that's the crazy part to me. It's like, really, they can have like, but yet okay. At one regard, I feel like if you're gonna do that type of decision, you know, you got to make sure you're in a situation where if something does happen, that you can afford, not even just financially, but mentally, emotionally, physically, and stably can afford to take care of the child or children. But regardless of what any woman's decision to do with their body, I don't and won't shame any woman who decides not to take birth control, whether she's single or not, because at the end of the day, birth control is not good for your body. And I do feel like, yes, you don't want a girl, especially that's already a teen mom and doesn't have financial stability, to have more and more kids. I do agree with that. So that's why I'm like, it's your preference, do what you want. I'm just saying, for me personally, I agree with it. and I don't do it. And I do feel like her situation is different than mine. However, I'm not gonna knock her for choosing to do that because it's her body. And at the same time, it's like, what's it called? Birth control just gives fucked up side effects. And honestly, still, even when you take that shit, you don't take it for a day or you miss an appointment, you will get pregnant just as easily. It happens all the time. Also, I'm not even trying to say don't take birth control. I'm not trying to be advocate for not taking it, but I'm also not an advocate at all for taking it. That's all. Ooh, this is gonna be a long video. I also feel like I agree with Rachel feeling like her mom is overstepping her bounds in the regards of trying to understand exactly why she called her OBGYN and what is she calling her for, what is she going there for, what is she gonna do, da, 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 da. Only thing I will say is it was not smart, not even a little bit, on Rachel's part to call the lady on her phone. I'm just like, girl, do you not have a cell? Like, I get that you don't have like a because I know she makes some type of cheese, but it's not like cheese, it's just a little cheddar. And it's like under the table, I believe. She just watches people's kids or something like that. So she's not making like a lot of money. But I would still think she's making enough to have a phone. Like, honey, you have a whole child. We gotta make different decisions, you know. And then it's like, girl, we gonna get to it. So I do feel like it didn't really make sense for her to call the OBGYN on her mom's phone, especially knowing how nosy and annoying her mom can be when it comes to stuff like that. However, if she doesn't have a phone, which is kind of odd, but if she doesn't, then I guess she had no choice. And also, I feel like the mom needs to understand that Rachel, it's like, and that's the thing, you know, when you are a baby having a baby, you can't be grown because you're still a baby. You have a baby, but you're moving like a baby. You have a baby, but you're living in your mom's house. You have a baby, but you don't have a phone. You have a baby, but you don't have a car. You have a baby, but you don't have no money, no job, no experience, nothing. Like, you literally only have experience in just, you know, being a teenager, having fun, and having a baby. That's it. Like, no job experience, no money, no apartment, no nothing. Not even money to go to the motherfucking haunted house for Halloween. Like, girl, we gonna get to that. Like, and I'm not trying to knock you. I understand you're young and you're a teen mom, but it's like, when you knew you was pregnant, you should have been stepping up. And then I understand you can't do the same things you can do when you're pregnant, when you're not pregnant. I get that. But once you had her and you were healed, because you're a single mom, yes, it's not fair. Drew should, yes, I understand. But you fucked him. You chose to keep the baby, and this is what it is. If you're gonna be a mom, you gotta step it up. There's no way you can be a mom and you don't have a phone. You can't do it. It's not feasible. Like, it's bad enough you don't have a car, it's bad enough you don't have your own place, and that's the problem. So like I said, your baby having a baby, you're moving like a baby, but you got a baby. And then it's like, you want to be treated grown, you want to have privacy, which I think that she deserves it because she is a mother and she is a young woman. Regardless, even if she wasn't a mother, she's still a young woman, and she does have the right, mother or not, to have her own privacy, especially at 18. Our sex life, regardless if you raised us or not, is not your business just because you're our parent. Okay, especially once we turn 18. Now, obviously when we're before 18, okay. But once you turn 18, my sex life is not your business. Like, you can ask questions, we can talk about things in a healthy manner, but you're not gonna force privacy out of me. You're not going to TI me on a podcast. We're not doing that. And it's especially horrible with women because you are young girls, because you know how it is. We're not allowed to touch or do anything. So I do think she deserves her privacy, but it's like, at the same time, when you are moving like a baby, you're going to be treated like a baby. So, like I said, the episode cut out, so I didn't see why Rachel and her mom got in an argument, but I guess they argued, it got bad. She moved out and moved into an Airbnb for a few days. And then I guess she had Cody come over to visit and, you know, just shoot some shit, and they got into it. I don't know why. Oh, he got upset because she was talking to other guys. Okay. I mean, my opinion on that is, I mean, I guess he does have the right to be upset. However, it's like, you know, I just feel like at that age, and I know nobody told us this, nobody taught us this. I mean, some people were taught this, mainly boys though. That's the fucked up part. Some girls really what girls were taught in regards to avoiding relationships or committed relationships at a young age was just, you can't have them, don't have them. That's it. It wasn't really how to maneuver, not really like what to look for, what not to look for, you know, what to deal with, not to deal with. It's more just, you can't do it, don't do it, and that's it. But with boys, sometimes people really do sit down with guys and tell them, like, you know, the truth, like, hey, look, these girls may be cute, but they're not gonna be it. Just fuck and let it go. And that's really how some, like, dudes who have men in their life, some men really talk to the guys like that, like young men, and teach them things like that. Because like I said, I mean, these boys aren't just getting it from their ass. Like, it's a generational thing, and it's a societal thing where boys are taught, you know, to like not take girls seriously, especially when they're under 30, do what they want, have fun, will focus on themselves, okay? That's why it's so easy for boys to move on and to be single at a young age and focus on themselves. And for girls, it's like as soon as they get their first boyfriend, they lose their mind, they're all into him. As soon as they break up, they want to kill themselves, and then it takes them actually having to get into a new relationship for them to feel like they're themselves again. And then sadly, not all girls, but there is a good amount of girls who, because they don't know how to be alone and low self-esteem, and also this world teaches us that as a woman, you can't have more than one hand body count. So by the time you at number 2 or 3, you better hold on to them, bitch, because you're going to start looking like a hoe. And if you look like a hoe, you will be crucified socially, because as a woman, you can't do that. And it's disgusting that the society treats women like this, and it's disgusting that this mentality has been so ingrained into us that it's like you're seeing a lot of girls having babies with boys at young ages because they want to keep the guys so bad. And it's not even just always a trap thing, but it's also just like, instead of thinking, and I understand some people are against abortion, but it's not even just about an abortion thing. It's also just about just thinking about what's best for you. And especially if you see the situations going haywire, sometimes like girls do not, you know, not necessarily purposely get pregnant, but don't say anything or don't have an issue with him not wearing a condom, because it's like, well, I love him, and if he comes in me, I don't care because I love him. And then when he comes in you and then you get pregnant, and then it gets real, and then he starts dipping. Well, first off, the signs are always there, so we're not going to act like they're never there. There's always signs, just a lot of people choose to ignore them, and then when it's too late, then you're like, oh shit. But there's that. And then also, like I said, this society just teaches us to just deal with bullshit. So it's just like, I do feel like just because Rachel's young and she's a young mom, that doesn't mean that she has to settle and try to look to Cody, girl, this ain't Floribama, Cody, or any dude that she's dating as like, oh, this will be my next husband and baby daddy. Because Rachel has that mindset. It's very obvious. I'm actually surprised she was talking to other guys, because the way she has been moving, even after she had her daughter, it's like every dude she gets with, it's like, oh, this will be my next husband, this will be my next baby daddy. And it's literally almost happened a couple times. So it's just like, that's not healthy, especially when you already have a child, a daughter. And it's like you keep bringing these guys in here, and it's not even just like it's one thing to date them, fine, date them, fuck them, suck them, and love them. Don't love them. Do what you want to do on the side, but they don't need to come in the house. They don't need to be around Hazley. They don't need to motherfucking live there. And that's the sad thing about Rachel, and a lot of women just got an issue with that. It's like, and I get it, it's society, it's the generations, it's a lot. So it's ingrained. But we break it. Baby, break the cycle. Okay? Fuck these hoes. Don't love these hoes. Talking to women. So Rachel and her mom pretty much get in an argument over plans for Halloween. Rachel, girl, you can't say, look, I'm not going trunk or treating. Look, I'm gonna be out all night. And look, I'm going out with my friends to do what I want to do. But mama, can I get like $10? Because I only got 20 and the entrance fee is 30. And I also need money for food and gas. What? I was crying when she said that. And she was dead ass. And her mom really was like, She didn't say a word. And I'm just like, as much as you yell and fuss at this girl, as much as you nuck and buck at this girl over stuff that, even though I understand it, the way you come at her and the way you quickly come at her over stuff, it'd be like, okay. But she said all that, and I understand she wasn't disrespectful, but it was just like, she literally just told you, this is what I'm not gonna do, but this is what I need you to do. Hurry up, let's go. And you had no, like, girl, and this is the problem. And like Rachel said, and she doesn't respect you, and that's the key. Oh, girl, this is gonna be a long video. Whew, bitch, I could have been a preacher or a Don. Either one, because honey, I be preaching. But I really could have had these hoes in line too. Either way, because baby, right now I'm on the preaching sector, okay? Rachel don't respect her mom. That's the problem. That's the underlying issue. She don't respect her. She feels like she wasn't there for her 9 years of her life. And that's a long time, okay? Rachel is only 18 years old. 9 plus 9 is 17. No, it's 18. What is 9 plus 9, bitch? Yeah, it's 18. So with that being said, that literally means, well, yeah, she wasn't there for half her life. That's a long time. Rachel's only 18. She wasn't there for half her life. So that's a long time. And I honestly could say just that alone, I can understand why, nothing else her mom could have said or done. That in itself, I can understand why Rachel feels some type of way about her mom and doesn't respect her. That's a long time. That's half her life. You weren't there. And she's not going to not remember that. She'll always remember that. That's something she's going to tell her kids, and her kids will know, and your kids, her kids will know. Like, it is what it is. It's the family truth. Clearly, might be a generational thing depending on how Rachel and Mallory's lives go. And who knows what happened with the grandma, because clearly the mom is there like that for a reason. So either the grandma is just, you know, maybe she was super strict and that's why the mom went haywire, or maybe I don't know. The grandpa too, because I think the grandma and grandpa are still together. I'm not sure. So that's the issue. She don't respect her, and because she doesn't respect her, she doesn't listen to anything she says. Her mom can be right, but because she doesn't respect her and she doesn't value her opinion, she's not going to listen to her. And she's also going to be combative at the same time, because not only does she not respect you, but she resents you. She's hurt. She feels some type of way. She won't tell you. And it might take some years of realization growing up in therapy for her to really like sit in that and really feel that hurt. And then like one day open up. But that might not even happen unless she really turns and evolves into a different person. And not necessarily like a different person personality wise, but just as more like her mindset and the way her lifestyle is. But like, I don't know if that's gonna happen. I mean, based on like their family lineage, I don't know. Rachel has some points, and I did understand wholeheartedly what she was saying when she was saying about the part like her mom says certain things to her that no mother should say to her daughter. We're not there. Some of the arguments they had on camera were not nice, were not cute, but I will say I don't, off the top of my head, I can't necessarily recall them having an argument that was super, where the mom said anything like disrespectful or super disrespectful. I can't remember at the top of my head. However, I'm sure off camera she has. I'm sure she's called her many of things out her name and said some fucked up disrespectful things. So I wouldn't be surprised if she has. And if she has, which I pretty much believe it, it's super late. And I'm just here for the fact that I'm really finishing this video even though I'm up late again. But as far as the disrespect with that, I can relate. And I do think it's very unfortunate, especially like, it's usually like within like impoverished areas, right? But especially, and I say this till I'm 12 in the face, that'll make sense. But I'll never be it. So I'm gonna keep saying it. Especially in this community, there's a very bad epidemic of mothers disrespecting their daughters, even as they're grown, even in public, saying and physically doing things that are unacceptable, physically trying to fight and harm their daughter. It's unacceptable, it's disrespectful, and it's out of pocket. And I do believe Rachel when she says that her mom has said some things that like no mom should say to their daughter. And I hope I wholeheartedly hope that she genuinely means what she says when she says she's not going to do that to Hazley, and that she does not continue the cycle of the disrespecting their daughters once they become of age. Because it's very rampant, especially like in impoverished families, like, you know, they're ghetto. And especially, like I said, within the Black community, ghetto or not. Because this community has, like, you know, slavery and all the shits very sadly ingrained in our generations. And so, like, in our sick ways, we think that degrading and disrespecting our children teaches them how to be better people and how to live in this world. It's really genuinely how a lot of parents think, especially impoverished and especially Black parents. But that's how they think. It's weird, but it's true. I understand it, but at the same time, it's not right. Okay, so with that being said, with Rachel's long ass fucking introduction or interlude, whatever the fuck you call it, they get in a big ass argument when she comes home from her Halloween night, because I guess she came way too late. She was supposed to come back before 1, so I'm assuming she probably came back at 3:30 or something. Her mom locks her out because she was mad she came home too late, and Hazley was hearing the argument. This is just ghetto. I keep telling y'all, stop arguing in front of these babies. Nobody's perfect. I gotta work it. I'm not perfect either, but I'm telling you, you're not gonna see me, especially like bitch in front of my child. I mean, regardless of any age, right? Regardless of any age, but like, no, regardless of any age. I wasn't doing that when he was 3, 4, 6, 7. Like, we're not doing that. I'm not saying I never argue in front of my son, but I'm not bitch, like, no. And the fact that these kids keep seeing their parents argue with people like this, whether it be their grandma, the baby daddy, it's just, and Hazley seen it, she heard it, and I guess they argued, and Rachel, you know, pretty much threatened to leave and did end up leaving. So as soon as the mom unlocked the door and opened the door, Hazley ran out and ran to her mom, Rachel. And then Rachel tried to get her stuff. Her mom wouldn't let her. So I guess she came back like the next day or something to get her stuff. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure Rachel will move back in a week or two, but this relationship just gonna keep getting toxicer and ghettoer until somebody moves out or somebody gets mental and emotional help. And not because when people hear those words, they think there's something wrong. No, it's just mentally, this life will fuck you up, and sometimes you need a little tune up to make sure your mental's straight. And emotionally, life will fuck you up, and sometimes you need a little tune up to make sure your emotions are straight. So it is what it is. Like, we all need it, including me. Okay, so now we're talking about Kayla J. And she starts her scene off pretty much realizing that she gave up a lot to be a young single mom. I don't mean to be rude, baby. But gee, you think? I'm not blaming her. It's her mom's fault and her dad's. I'm not just gonna blame the moms today. It's the father's fault too, because clearly it takes 2 to create a child, and it's fucked up and not even right that fathers are completely obsolete in a lot of their kids' lives in all races, especially this community. I will always say that because it's always a fact, sadly. But in all races too, because even you see Brianna, where's her father, sadly? Kayla, where's her father, sadly? Who else is white on this show? There's another white girl. I know it. Who? And Rachel, where's her father? Like, no fathers. Only one that has a father in their life is Madison. And we don't, where the hell is Madison? Why is she not on this show? Like, but yeah, Madison's the only one with the father in here. No girl on here has a father. And the cast is mainly white women. Nobody on here has a father other than Madison. So it's really sad to see how many fathers are absent and not even in their kids' lives. Like, it's disgusting. And the fact that, and I'm not saying people don't say anything and it hasn't been said, it has, but the fact that it's so normalized. Anyway, with that being said, but I'm also gonna give the mom the blame too, because we know for a fact that she raised her daughter and she encouraged her young pregnancy. So that was poor planning on both their parts. And I get that. Not all girls, not all boys, not all people are going to have a certain maturity level when it comes to like making smart decisions and not getting themselves in fucked up lifelong situations at young ages. I understand that. But it's just like, you would think by now, especially in 2021 with the rates of single motherhood, with teen mom shows, and you would think by now a teenage person, whether it's a girl or boy, would know how a baby is made, how easily it can happen. You would think they would know, especially with her situation, because she chose to get pregnant. She didn't accidentally get pregnant. You would think she would have knew, like, well, I mean, duh, I'm not married. Yeah, we're engaged, but we're not legally married yet. Also, aside from that, even if you were legally married yet, you're still ain't 18, baby. You had you telling me you had scholarships? You telling me you was gonna go to the army, or you had scholarships to do all that, and you turned all that down just to be a single baby mama to someone that you weren't married to and ended up breaking up with you as soon as the baby was born? And I know you couldn't 100% foresee that, but at the same time, it's like, you would think with history constantly repeating itself, and with constant reminders and constant situations where you see shit didn't go right for people who literally did the same exact thing as you would think people would be more smart to realize, like, yeah, that's not gonna work out well. But no, a lot of people make the same exact decisions and mistakes. And I'm not trying to get on Kayla J, because all these girls on here made like decisions that I wouldn't make. However, she purposely got pregnant. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little bit kind of like, girl, because you did this on purpose, and you didn't have to. And you have scholarships. These other girls did not have that. So I'm just looking at you like, you didn't even get to experience life. You didn't even get to have your first real drink yet and turn up, and you did all that. Got rid of all that. And like she said, it's not necessarily a mistake or whatever word she used. It's just more of like a different decision. It's whatever word she used. And to some extent she's right, but at the same time it's like, because I don't know, whatever. I mean, I don't want to use the word mistake, but at the same time, it wasn't the best decision. It wasn't. And I'm not saying that you should regret it, but no, she's a beautiful girl, but please teach your daughter to do different. Please don't encourage your daughter to make the same decision you made at 18. Please encourage your daughter to focus on herself, to focus on her health, to focus on her life, her living. If she wants to experience sex and experience love, go ahead and do that, but don't fall prey to every boy that says he loves you. Don't fall prey to every boy with a dick. They all have dicks, so don't fall prey to all of them. Don't fall prey to any of them, married or not. Don't fall prey to any of them. Like, you, baby, you got a whole lot of teaching that your mama didn't do that you're gonna have to do with your daughter. So Markelle has a new girlfriend, and he already moved on. I'm not surprised. And she doesn't have an issue with it necessarily, but he already moved in with his girlfriend. So whenever Mecca goes to see him, she has to see his girlfriend. Now, she decided to let her go down there to see him, and he said that his girlfriend wasn't gonna be there, but she ended up being around his daughter. And she was around her, and she didn't know, I guess, until she came back or something like that. Like I said, the episode 5 cut out, so I didn't get to see the entirety of it, but that's pretty much what I got from the recap. And she has every right. I'd be upset too. I don't understand, and this is where narcissism and selfishness comes in. Why people feel like they have to bring their kids around every piece of ass that they're fucking and sucking on. Like, I don't get it. Your kid does not need to be around every guy you fuck. Your kid does not need to be around every girl you fuck. They don't need to be around them. And okay, yeah, you say, well, that's my girlfriend. They still don't need to be around them. It ain't your wife. It ain't your fiance. Y'all ain't been together longer than a year. So what's the question? I don't, especially when the kids are young and impressionable. It ain't like we're talking about grown people here, like, oh, I'm about to meet my dad's new girlfriend. Okay, well, that's fine. You know, they've only been dating for 3-4 months, but you know, you're 19 years old, so you're old enough to be around your dad's grown adult friends, whether it's a girlfriend or it's just a female friend, whatever, that's fine. But when we're talking about a 9-year-old or even a 2-year-old or an 18-month-old, you do not, and I repeat, do not bring your children around every boyfriend or girlfriend you have. You just don't do it, okay? And it just doesn't make sense, and it baffles me when parents are so selfish and so in tune with their relationship, and they're so focused on worrying about being with their new girlfriend or their new boyfriend or their new piece of ass so badly that they have to include their only time they get with their kid with that new person. It doesn't make sense. You agreed to it and it was cool, but then you changed up. You fucked up. So she has every right to feel how she feels. And if she wants to, you're that mad, get the courts involved. It is what it is. Like, and that's the ramifications of deciding to have kids when you guys don't have a solid foundation. So anyway, they pretty much argue on the way to the baby's preschool or daycare on the way back. Like I said, it gets ghetto when you do it in a way that is not unified and it's not structured. It's not going to be structured. And yes, co-parenting can over time be better and things get better. But who wants to wait 10 years just to have peace? Like, bitch, I don't got time for that. Anywho, they argue and then they get back to the house, and pretty much Kayla lets Markelle know how she feels. And I'm glad she let it out because she needs to let it out. But I hope after she let it out, she decides to make some changes and actually decides to let Markelle go. Markelle is not the man for you, baby. He's just the father of your child, and that's all it's gonna be. So just accept that and move on. And I think her cousin kind of has the right, she has the right intentions, but not the right idea. I think that Kayla needs to work on herself. And Kayla actually did say that. She was like, I don't really care to date right now. I just need to focus on myself. And I agree. But I think she needs to focus on herself, not like just, I'm gonna just be single and focus on only me and my daughter and just focus on work. But like, actually focus on your mental and your emotional. Figure out why you're still stuck on Markelle, even though he's clearly told you a couple times now he doesn't want you. You guys aren't going to be together. Why are you still allowing him to emotionally hurt you? Why haven't you moved on? Now, maybe you could say Markelle just moves on quick. It seems like he does based on what they say about him. But still, like, you know, you don't have to necessarily be in a relationship. You can just be getting some dick or getting some pussy, whatever she does. Or just necessarily talking to someone new, getting her feet wet. Like, I feel like that's something you can do. You don't always have to fuck other people. It can just be like just simple stuff like courting and dating. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I think in the process of doing that, she needs to focus on like getting to know herself, getting to know what her self-worth. That's the key. A lot of people don't have it. And that's why a lot of people are unhappy and not at peace and have so many fucked up toxic relationships, because they don't know their own self-worth. So they allow other people to run them down to the ground when they're worth way more than they allow themselves to be treated like. I can tell she doesn't have the most self-esteem. I can tell that she doesn't know her self-worth. I mean, it's clear, like if a man tells you he don't want you, but you still begging to have his baby, like, come on. So I think her cousin had good intentions, but wrong idea. And I think that she has the right idea, but I hope that her intentions aren't just, well, I'm gonna just focus on myself by just being a single mom that goes to work and just stays in the house. No, focus on yourself, like doing things for yourself, getting to know yourself, building your self-worth, self-confidence, therapy if you need it, or just talking to other people, or just, you know, sometimes you can be your own therapist. Baby, I'm very much my own therapist. I swear to God. So Kayla and Luke move out. They move into their own cute house. Oops, excuse me. And in the process of moving in the house, Kayla mentions like, okay, so this is what we're doing. They're pretty much planning things. They're planning out what they want to do the next few years in their goals, which is good. And then they also mention like in the next year, that's when we'll start the process, or the process will begin of you adopting Isaiah. So they have a timeline for it. So that makes sense if they got it planned out, and I understand it, I respect it. And then midway through the show, her ex hits her up. And so I guess Kayla's ex, I was gonna say baby daddy, thinks he could be Isaiah's father. So she's gonna get tested and see what that do. She lets her mom know, and her mom gives her opinions on it. And she hasn't told Luke yet. So I hope she's gonna tell him the next episode, because it doesn't make sense to not tell him. But it sounded like she wasn't gonna tell him, because when the mom asked, she kind of was just like, well, I mean, it happened before him, which is true. So he should have no reason to be upset with her. But I mean, still, it would make sense to run it by him. He is your current partner. You guys do have a relationship currently, and you plan on having him adopt Isaiah. I don't think that it should change anything at all, but it still would be nice for him to know. Also, I think that only way it could change, which is possible, is if he is the guy, I don't remember the guy's name, but if the guy is Isaiah's father and he actually does end up being a stand-up father and he wants to genuinely be Isaiah's dad, like for real, then Luke probably wouldn't be able to legally adopt him if the other guy fights him for that. However, it's fine if Luke is still going to be the same type of father figure and stepfather he's been, then Isaiah just gets 2 dads instead of 1. So whatever's best for Isaiah, I feel like. I gotta go. Like this video if you like it, subscribe if you want to. I'll see you soon. I'm gonna come back with a new reaction video the next day or 2. I fuck with y'all, so fuck with me. And if you fuck with me, I fuck with you.